Hello friends, welcome to Insights ICANN initiative. In today's video, we are going to discuss about weekly current issue, week number 8. If you miss out the previous weekly current issues, you can find those topics in the playlist which named as weekly current issues. By the way, I would like to give you one important update, that is, few students are asking about explanation regarding the daily mains answer, whichever I am giving to you in the daily current affairs video. Okay. So I'll try to give a brief explanation about that question from the next week onwards. At the end of the video, okay, you can, along with the MCQ, you can get the overall structure of that particular question you can get. Okay, I'll try to include from coming days onwards. Meanwhile, this is the week number 8. For last 7 weeks, we were discussing about the weekly current issues. By the way, in this video, we are going to cover following topics. What are they? Number 1, digital birth certificate. It is related to government policies and interventions. Monoclonal antibodies. This is related to SNT. Tell me students, India requested one country regarding the monoclonal antibodies. Okay, which country India requested? Tell me, what is the country name? Meanwhile, advocate and records. Recently, Supreme Court fined an advocate who has this advocate and record qualification. So in this context, I will tell you what is advocate and record means and what are the conditions needed to get this status. Then we will go to the Bhoj wetland. It is related to environment and this is present in the Madhya Pradesh. Then International Tribunal for Law of Sea. This is actually a body established according to the UN clause, United Nations Convention on Law of Sea. Recently, few countries they complained to this tribunal. And what is that all about? And how this is established, we will discuss. Then floods in Libya, disaster management or IR, international relations. You know that recently, very unfortunate incidents happened in North Africa. One was earthquake in Morocco, the other one is about floods in Libya. We will discuss about which cyclone caused these floods. Then finally, we will discuss about Nifty. What is Nifty and why Nifty is in news? And what is Sensex? And what are the two major stock markets in India? We are going to discuss. So these are the 7 topics we will cover in this weekly current issues video. First, let us discuss about digital birth certificate. What is this all about? Actually, Government of India given one notification. What is that notification? The notification is all about all the births and deaths. They should be digitally registered. From when? From 1st of October onwards. Okay. Is this backed up by any law? Yes. This orders came to implement the law, that is Registration of Births and Deaths Amendment Act 2003. According to this act, once a particular birth or death, once it is registered in this portal, a certificate can be given. That certificate is known as digital birth certificate. Of course, the digital birth certificate, it can be used for multiple purposes. To get the driving licenses or admission in the educational institutions or government job verifications, for all these kind of things, this certificate can be used. Of course, this database also contain the National Population Register. Here you have to understand what is this National Population Register. Meanwhile, you have to understand it is compulsory for the state to register their births and deaths according to this census notification. Meanwhile, tell me students, registration of births and deaths comes under which list under Schedule 7? If it is present, tell me which list it comes under. Put your answer in the comment section. Then we will discuss about the National Population Register. National Population Register is all about, it is a register which contains the information. Generally, it gives much preference to the residence condition of an individual, whether that individual is residing in that particular area from longer time or short time. Actually, it was in news very prominently when Government of India brought the Citizenship Amendment Act in 2019. Okay, so it mainly focused on the residence of a particular individual students. And for the first time, it was prepared in 2010. Then later, it was amended in 2015 according to the Sub-Rule 4 of Rule 3 of Citizenship Act 2003. According to that act, rules were being drafted by the Union government. Citizenship Act 1955. Later, of course, Citizenship Act was amended in 2019. It was mainly about people who came from Pakistan, Bangladesh and Afghanistan few of them, the few of the people who belong to certain religions, they were being given citizenship of India if they follow certain conditions. What is the main objective of the NPR? Obviously, to create a repository about the usual residence condition of the people who are living in country. And no document will be collected during the NPR. So, people privacy also will not be violated. This is about NPR as well as Union government orders regarding the registration of births and death. This is topic number 1. Next topic, second topic is about the SNT. This topic is all about, we requested Australia regarding what? Regarding the monoclonal antibodies. Why? To counter the Nipah virus. First you have to understand here what are monoclonal antibodies. Normally monoclonal antibodies are exact copies of the antibodies which are present in the human being. You know that we are having the antibodies and any foreign particles which enter into the human body, that particle is known as antigen. Antigen will be countered by antibody. In case if human body compromised regarding the antibodies, then we will give this monoclonal antibodies. That's it. If you have a single copy of a single antibody, that is known as monoclonal antibody. If you have copies of multiple antibodies, that is known as polyclonal antibodies. And we are seeking the help of Australia in this condition. You must have remembered that last year we made free trade agreement with Australia, and Australia is one of the member country in the Quad. Okay, Quad grouping. Nowadays, relation between India and Australia growing a lot. India recently reached out to which country? Reached out to Australia regarding what? Regarding the monoclonal antibodies to combat what? Nipah virus. You know that incidents related to Nipah virus were reported in Kerala. Monoclonal antibodies, like I explained, these are the protein which are the exact copies of antibodies present in the human bodies, and these are the parts of our immune system. These antibodies, like I said earlier, they help in counter the antigens, foreign particles. The word monoclonal because it came from the single antibody, single protein. If these are the copies of the multiple antibodies, they are known as polyclonal antibodies. Normally, these antibodies, they produced by cloning of which cells? B cells. You know that, students. Lymphocytes, B lymphocytes and T lymphocytes. And you might have known that lymphocytes, monocytes. Okay, these are the agranulocytes present in WBC. Whereas neutrophils, eosinophils, basophils, they are present in the granulocytes. In WBC, there are two types, granulocytes and agranulocytes. And specificity, these monoclonal antibodies directly they go and join with the antigen and they help in eradicating or killing of antigen. And they generally these monoclonal these antibodies majorly they use in therapies of cancer and autoimmune disease. What is the meaning of this autoimmune disease? If an immune system of an individual is working against the individual, that is known as, like autoimmune disease. Nipah virus. We will try to know some information regarding the Nipah virus. This is the zoonotic disease. Zoonotic disease means what? A disease which spread from the animals to human being. That is known as zoonotic disease. And this Nipah virus causes encephalitis. And this Nipah virus is RNA, and it belongs to a family of Paramyxoviridae. It belonged to. It was first broke out in the country Malaysia and Singapore in 1998. Recently, it was quite evident in India. So, as we are discussing, it is a zoonotic disease. From which animal it is coming? It is coming from pigs. Pigs are, like other animals such as dogs, cats. When human beings are eating that meat, okay, it is coming to the individual. And this disease spreads from one organism to another organism, one animal to another animal through food bats. You know that bats are the organisms which are responsible for spread of many pathogens. Even during the COVID time also, many scientists still they are trying to establish that bats are the primary sources of the spreading of coronavirus. Symptoms: fever, headache, drowsiness during the Nipah infection. Mortality rate 40 to 70%. That means if 100% are affected, around 40% to 70% will die because of this virus. There is no specific treatment is available at this moment. This is regarding the monoclonal antibodies as well as the Nipah virus. So we are done with the topic number 2. Now the third topic we are discussing, that is about the Supreme Court Advocate and Records, AOR. So advocate and record means advocate and record AOR nothing but an advocate plus additional qualification. Okay, that advocate must have been passed by a qualification, passed by a test conducted by Supreme Court. Apart from that, he would have finished training, certain training under senior AOR. He must have office within the proximity of Supreme Court, and the person must appoint one clerk also. These are some of the conditions. When these conditions fulfill, then that advocate will be given the status of AOR, advocate on records. Recently Supreme Court fined an advocate on record. That is the reason we are discussing. Supreme Court bench recently imposed a fine of 2000 rupees on advocate on record. Why? Because the senior advocate on record, he sent his lawyer. Like advocate on record, AOR don't need to come to the court for all the cases. On behalf of AOR, his lawyer or his advocate also will appear, like his junior will appear on behalf of him. But this time the junior who appeared before the Supreme Court, he came without a proper files. Because of that, Supreme Court put a fine on this person. So this AOR sent junior without any paper. AOR. This AOR is, like this the position of AOR, it is according to the Supreme Court rules. According to Article 145 Clause 1, Supreme Court can make their own rules. Okay. Based on that only, even the collegium system also came into existence. Tell me students, according to which judgment collegium system came into existence? Was it the first judgment case, or second judge's case, or third judge's case, or fourth judge's case? Tell me your answer. Next, advocate and record. It's a title given, and this kind of concept is only applicable to Supreme Court. This kind of titles not present in any High Court. That you have to understand. Only the advocates, only these AORs, they can file a case before the Supreme Court. That means when you are filing a case, that vakalatnama you can call it as. That means when you are filing a case, that advocate name should be there on the case. Okay, those advocate names, those advocates only from the AOR. But on behalf of AOR, their juniors can argue in the court. They can only file this kind of concept present in nowhere. Now if you look at Order 4, Rule 5, it is clearly saying that what kind of criteria required to get a status of AOR. An advocate who must be registered in any state bar council, and an advocate is required to have prior experience of at least 4 years, and he must have at least 1 year of training under any senior AOR, and he must appear, he must have own office within the 10-kilometer radius, and he must have a dedicated clerk. These are some of the conditions required to get a status of AOR. Whether an AOR is allowed to get any assist in the matters of advocacy, yes. They can send their juniors to argue on behalf of them. But the case will be filed only on the name of the AOR. That you have to understand. That is about the third topic, that is the AOR, advocate on records. The topic was related to polity. Now we are going to discuss about the topic number 4, that is about the Bhoj Island. This Bhoj Island consists of 2 lakes, upper lake, lower lake. It is present in the state of Madhya Pradesh. Tell me students, in which state highest number of tigers are present in India? Which state highest number of tigers are present? Tell your answer. Bhoj wetland. Recently, NGT, National Green Tribunal, they ordered the Maharashtra government. What is this order is all about? To stop what activity? To stop the operation of cruise vessels. Cruise vessels generally we use in the tourism in the Bhoj wetland area. Now we'll try to understand about this Bhoj wetlands, about its topography. This consists of 2 water bodies, human made reservoir it is, and these 2 lakes, these are present in the city of Bhopal, Madhya Pradesh. The upper part of the lake is known as Bhoj Thal, and the lower lake is known as Chota Talab. Talab means nothing but lake. These lakes are very rich in biodiversity. You must remember that students, NGT, National Green Tribunal, it is the apex body in terms of environmental matters. Any environment violations are done, then NGT will intervene to stop those kind of violations. It is with highest amount of biodiversity. It consists of rich phytoplankton, zooplankton, and it is designated as Ramsar site in 2002. Tell me students, how many Ramsar sites in India? How many Ramsar sites in India? Now let us focus our attention on NGT. The NGT, National Green Tribunal, it established under the NGT Act 2010. And New Delhi is the principal bench of this tribunal, and it is having branches in other parts of India. Regarding the composition, it consists of chairman and other judicial members and the expert members in environment. Previously, UPSC asked one question also on this NGT. And whoever this NGT chairman and members, they have the office of 5 years and they are not eligible for reappointment. Chairman of NGT, they are appointed by central government in consultation with the CJI. Generally, retired Supreme Court judges or retired High Court Chief Justice, they will be appointed into NGT. And the selection committee, it shall be formed by central government. The selection committee will select the NGT chairman as well as the NGT members. Generally, at least 10 and maximum 20 full-time judicial members and expert members will be there in the tribunal. That means the normal strength of the NGT will be between 10 to 20, which includes both judicial as well as expert members. What is a Ramsar Convention? Ramsar is a place, is a city which is present in Iran, and the Ramsar Convention was made in 1971. What is the main purpose of the Ramsar Convention? The main purpose of the Ramsar Convention is to protect the wetlands. Why you have to protect the wetlands? You have to protect the wetlands because wetlands are representing the transition of the ecosystem. Wetland is nothing but transition of aquatic ecosystem to terrestrial ecosystem. When one ecosystem is transitioning to another ecosystem, that part is known as ecotone. Ecotone. Here, wetland is also one of the ecotone, and wherever the ecotone is there, their biodiversity is a lot. To protect these biodiversity, these like wetlands, Ramsar Convention was enacted in 1971. If you remember, in the same 1971, Government of India made the 24th Constitution Amendment Act. That was also very, very important. This site present, this Ramsar is present in Iran. So this is our fourth topic. Next, topic number 5. It is about the International Tribunal for the Law of the Sea. Students, we have different names for the ocean body when we are going from the mainland towards the ocean. Okay, those names are, for example, territorial sea and exclusive economic zone as well as the high sea. Okay, high seas are nothing but international waters, and these international waters are governed by particular rules. One of the law was UN clause, United Nations Convention on Law of Sea. According to the UN clause, one tribunal was appointed, and the tribunal will look after whether the nations are following the rules or not. So now we will see what this is all about. International Tribunal for the Law of the Sea. Recently, the International Tribunal for the Law of the Sea, now they took up the case, and this case is going to hear. What is this content about the case? Group of small island states, they seek protection of the world oceans from the climate change. They filed a case that oceans are experiencing the climate change and we have to protect the oceans. If you remember, when COP27 summit was held in Sharm el-Sheikh, Egypt, at that time, very small islands like Tuvalu, they protested in the island, that summit that because of the climate change, even though the majority of the damage is doing by the developed countries, but the climate change effect is mainly on the island nations. To prevent that, okay, they even demanded the loss and damage fund also. Now regarding the International Tribunal for the Law of the Sea, it is an independent judicial body established in 1982 according to the UN clause, United Nations Convention on the Law of Sea. What is the composition of the tribunal? The tribunal consists of 21 independent members. How these 21 nations will be selected? These nations will be selected by countries which accepted the UN clause. These members are selected by secret ballot by countries which are party to the UN clause convention. Each country can nominate 2 candidates. Based on that, this board will be consist. And this tribunal jurisdiction, it covers disputes related to, like application of United Nations Convention on Law of Sea. Any disputes related to navigation, disputes related to fishing, and dispute related to conservation of ocean. That means this tribunal is covering broad areas of various maritime disputes, maritime issues. And sometimes even they also conduct certain scientific research also, like how the water bodies are changing because of the climate change. And it is also open for the new countries, even though they are not signed on the UN clause. Where is the headquarter of this tribunal? Present in Hamburg, Germany. If you remember, students, in Germany last year G7 meeting was happened in Germany. Now tell me, next year G7 meeting is going to be happened in which country? That is about the topic number 5. Next, sixth topic we are going to discuss. It is a very unfortunate incident and it happened in Libya. Recently in North Africa, two unfortunate incidents happened. One was about the Morocco, that was earthquake in last current affairs class we discussed, even near the Atlas mountains. In this Libya experienced a very powerful cyclone. Because of that, the region is experiencing the floods. So this Libya is sharing border with the Mediterranean Sea, and it is majorly sharing border with countries like Egypt, okay, and Morocco, Tunisia. These are some of the countries which are sharing border with the Libya. If you remember, few years back, the leader of the Libya, Gaddafi, he was been killed by people in the civil war. It was a very recent time after the Mussolini in Italy during the World War II. After that, this was the one more incident where the head of the state was killed by the people in the civilian war. Let's see. Libya, floods affected in areas Derna, eastern Libya, and it almost all killed 5,000 people. This floods caused by Mediterranean storm named Daniel. Now about Libya. Libya present in North Africa region, that region where these North African countries, where most of the people speak French. This particular region is known as what? Maghreb region. And Libya shared borders with countries such as Niger to the east, Sudan to the southeast, Chad to the south, Niger to the southwest, Algeria to the west, and Tunisia to the northwest. These are the border nations to the Libya. And Libya is mostly desert area and it's an oil-rich nation. It got independence in 1951. Like I said earlier, Colonel Gaddafi, he seized powers in 1969, and in 2011 he was been chopped down and he was been assassinated by the military in the civil war. The civil war in Libya, it led to the migrant crisis from Africa, and of course the civil wars in Tunisia and Libya, it resulted to the Arab Spring also. You might have remember. Libya is one of the largest oil reserve in North Africa particularly. Libya captured Tripoli, Libya currency Libyan dinar. And Mediterranean storm. This Mediterranean storm, also known as Mediterranean cyclone, these are the type of weather system that form over the Mediterranean Sea. That is the reason it got its name. And the storms can vary in intensity and impact, but they bring lot of precipitation, which resulted to like floods in countries like Libya. That was about the sixth topic, that is Libyan floods. Now the seventh topic we are going to discuss about the Nifty. Students, markets are two types. The market which deals with the short-term lending and the market which deals with the long-term lending. The market which deals with the short-term lending, that market is known as money markets, and the long-term lending market is known as capital market. In India, money market regulated by RBI, capital market regulated by the SEBI. In capital market, where companies will issue the bonds and share, they are nothing but what? Securities or stocks. These stocks will be exchanged between the buyers and sellers. The place where we exchange the stocks, that is known as stock exchange. In India, one of the popular stock exchanges are NSE, National Stock Exchange, and BSE, Bombay Stock Exchange. Now let us see, we discuss about the Nifty. Nifty related to the National Stock Exchange, and Nifty 50 is about top most 50 companies stock together known as Nifty 50. Recently NSE 50, they managed to cross 20,000 mark. What is this Nifty stands for? Nifty is a market index and introduced by the National Stock Exchange. Previously, even though it was established in 1996, when at the time of establishment, it was established with the name of CNX Nifty. Later in 2015, it was renamed as Nifty 50. It featured topmost 50 company shares, and those shares performance, it affects the Nifty 50. If those shares are trading at high level, trading with the increased quantity or increased value, then the Nifty value will increase. If the shares value will decrease, then Nifty value will decrease. It all depends on those particular stocks of those 50 companies. What is stock index? I already told you. Stock index is a measurement of the changes that takes place in the stock market. Stock market can be bullish or bearish. Bearish means obviously stock market value is getting decreasing. Bullish means the value of stock market is increasing. It depends on the price movement of the total stocks. Calculation. Individual stock value, if you accumulate, then you will get the total value of the Nifty. That is what. Okay. For example, one company stock value 2000, another company stock value 3000. If you add up all the top 50 company stock values, then you will get the total value of the Nifty 50. Now that Nifty 50 total value crossed how much? 20,000. It indicates the change in the market. So these are the top 7 topics in these weekly current issues. Now MCQ, yesterday's video MCQ. With reference to IRNSS, consider the following statements. Out of these 3 statements, which one are correct? IRNSS has 3 satellites in geostationary, 4 in geosynchronous S. It covers entire India, about 5,500 square kilometer, no, up to 1500. India will have its own satellite navigation system with full global coverage by the middle of 2019. No, students. Okay, so 2 statements are wrong. Now let's see today's video question. Storm shadow seen in news recently is what? To which this term is related to what? Next. Which of the following best describes K218b, which was recently seen in the news? Related to what? Next. Which one of the following is the best describes of mule, which was in news recently? Mule means what? Next, Bhoj wetland, which was recently in news, located in which? In which area Bhoj wetland is located? The Lucy mission, which was recently seen in news, was launched by which country launched this mission? As we reach to the end of this video, try to quickly revise, students. This is a week number 8 of the weekly current issues video, and in this particular video, we discussed about 7 topics which range from various subjects. And this is the detailed analysis regarding the week number 8 weekly current issues.